For the purpose of this drill, we're going to be focusing on different distances on the field and working on fundamental form. One stick length is about a yard, so first you're going to be starting off at 5 yards, going righty, strong hand facing the target, arms back, stick up, hands away from your body, head and step towards target. When the ball comes back, you're going to have a minimum amount of cradle. You'll be doing this on the other side. Lefty, the same form, same motion to start the drill. For the second part of the drill, you'll be facing away from your target. Lower body stays facing away while your upper body twists around. Please notice how the legs twist and turn and pivot. This is so you don't hurt your knees or your ankles. Stick is still away from your body and arms are out away from your body. Stick head facing up so that the ball does not fall out when you come around. First, bring your head to your shoulder and find your target and then come around. This will be done exactly the same on the opposite side, lefty. Now that you have seen the throwing technique, we will be observing how the drill is done. First, you'll start out at 5 yards, doing 20 passes with your right hand. And then you'll do 20 passes with your left hand. And then you'll be doing 20 facing away from your target, righty, and then 20 facing away from the target, lefty. And then you'll move up to 7 yards, which is where the next 2 cones are. And then you'll move up to 10 yards. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have good form every time, and that when you're catching the ball, you're having soft hands to be able to bring the ball back without many cradles. On the left side, you'll notice, which is my weak hand, that I have a slight cradle on the back once I bring the ball all the way back behind my head. That's to make sure that I do not fling the ball out when I bring it back in my less confident and less dominant hand. Why we do this drill at 5 yards and not closer or not slightly farther to start is because when you're playing the crease or you're in around the crease or dodging from X, 5 yards is the start of the area we call the island, which is between 5 and 7 yards. This is a prime shooting area in front of the goal distance-wise. If we were any lower, we make it very easy for the goalie to make a save. Seeing the crease comes out 3 yards, we only have 2 yards of room behind us to move and operate. So if we're any lower than this 5, we're possibly going to step on the crease itself. Along with this, if we're any lower, we're going to make it a lot easier for that 2 slide on the backside pipe to be able to get to us and get a check before we get a shot off. So that's why we're focusing on 5 yards to start here. When doing this drill, if you do not hit the bounce back, it does not count. Or if you throw one away and it's impossible to catch or too far away from you to catch, then do not count that rep as you go up to your 20. The second distance we're going to is 7 yards. When we go to 7 yards is because this is the top of the island that we talk about. Also, it is probably the lowest if you're dodging from up top, that you'll be able to get your shot off before the slide gets to you. Along with this distance, if you are dodging downhill and one of your attackmen is able to sneak the back pipe, this is probably about the distance that you'll realize that you'll have to make the pass. Because if you're this low, getting the shot off will be tough, like we said, with the slide right there. Along with realizing the shooting areas, besides this, when we practice at different distances, we start to find our range as passers and shooters. Because if we cannot complete passes consistently at a certain distance, how do we expect to shoot and score consistently from that distance? The main purpose of this technique of having your lower body and upper body face away from your target when you start to throw and keeping your lower body facing away helps you to really force your upper body to get this motion of coming over the top and your arms staying away from your body. If you were to bring your arms in here, you would most likely throw the ball away. If you were to go sidearm or underhand here, you would throw the ball off to the right or left side depending upon which hand you're using compared to the target. Along with this, we also get to force this twist of the upper body and use more than just our arms. A lot of players end up focusing on just their arms and shooting with just their arms. We want to get out of this habit. Yes, your arms are part of your shot, but you want a whole upper body twist. So this helps really force it. This will really translate while shooting on the run and throwing on the run, along with step down shots and getting your whole body into them. Relying just on your arms is only going to get so much speed. And when you put this together with your step, the amount of power you can get out of your shot will exponentially increase. When I miss the target, you realize here that I take a second and then I reset myself. Make sure that I actually get my arms away and up. This is because at this point we have done over 120 reps and we're getting up to 160 reps soon. So when you're getting tired, you need to take a second, take a breather to get yourself better. This whole drill will take about 20 to 25 minutes to do based off the amount of drops you have. After you do 5 and 7 yards, I suggest that you take a quick water break for a minute or two and catch your breath. Also, your shoulders will be very tired. Then you want to come back to 10 yards. This is where it's going to start to get a little harder. 1, because of fatigue. 2, it's slightly farther distance than most people expect. 10 yards is probably about the farthest away from the goal you want to be shooting when you're shooting downhill. Along with this, 10 yards is a good distance for a pass on the run for a midfielder or an attackman to make. For your deep hole or a goalie, this would be considered a slightly shorter pass for them. Once you really start to do this at 10 yards, you'll start to realize that with your weak hand that you're not as successful. And then you should really understand how maybe a 12 or 15 yard step down on your weak side isn't the best thing to do. And when you start to do this backwards, you'll really realize that your accuracy is a little off at 10 yards. Especially when you're doing proper form, it gets better. When your form gets a little off, the pass will be worse. For the purpose of time, I have not shown the full length of doing it at 10 yards or the full reps of doing it at 10 yards. At 10 yards, the extra 80 reps you're going to do is probably going to take you about 10 minutes depending upon how many misses you have, also how many balls you're using.